Hello, friends. They say, do good and good will come to you. Today's episode has two stories that confirm this expression. The people featured in our stories couldn't have even imagined that wild animals would manage to prevent terrible tragedies in their lives, the kind that could be the worst thing to ever happen to them. It was a regular day for the residents of the island of Sumatra. The fisherman Siu and his daughter Hao were returning home after fishing. The man often took the girl with him on fishing trips as he considered her to be his lucky charm. He always caught more fish when Hao was nearby. When they were already on their way to the village, the girl saw a wild kitten sitting in the bushes. It was obviously very weak. Hao immediately asked her father to help the animal. The man fed the animal fish and a little later even brought a local veterinarian to check it out. Due to severe weakness, the kitten couldn't resist the examination. All it could do was snort and hiss occasionally. After the examination, it turned out that the animal was completely healthy, only severely emaciated. Left without a mother, the kitten simply couldn't get food on its own. After consulting with the vet, Siu and his daughter decided that they would bring food to the animal, because taking it home would mean dooming the cat to a life in captivity. Sure, it probably wasn't very smart to expect the kitten to come to the same place every day to get fed. Hao was very worried that she wouldn't see the kitten again, but it did happen. And thus began the friendship between a wild cat and a 10-year-old girl. Siu and his daughter gave a third of their catch to the animal almost every day, and the cat grew bigger and stronger. It was a lovely Asian golden cat. In adulthood, the length of this animal reaches about 1 meter or 1.5 meters when measured with the tail. The Asian golden cat is a rather dangerous enemy, feeding mainly on rodents and birds, but capable of hunting even a deer. These animals prefer solitude and pair up only during the mating season. They are nocturnal, as they are often hunted by people. This cat is a very popular species for keeping in captivity, so poachers catch them and sell them for huge amounts of money as rare exotic animals. There are very few of these animals left in the forests. Hao named the cat Golden Whiskers and went into the forest to feed it every day for 2 months until one day the animal disappeared. Hao was very sad, and the father tried to comfort his daughter as best he could, saying that the kitten grew up and went on to live a free life. Over time, the girl began to get used to the fact that she no longer got to see her friend in the forest. One day, Hao and her mother, who was known around the village as a healer, went to the river to collect plants to make ointment. While the woman was looking for the right ingredients, the girl played by the river, throwing small rocks into the water. Distracted by the game, she didn't notice a crocodile in the water. The predator grabbed Hao by the leg. The mother ran to the river screaming. She had no idea what to do or how to save her daughter. Then, suddenly, a huge golden cat appeared. It was no longer the same helpless, emaciated kitten who could hardly stay up on its paws. The animal fearlessly attacked the crocodile. The predator's mouth unclenched, and the girl managed to run away. The cat also retreated, but only after it saw that Hao was no longer in danger. The girl was saved, and the fisherman's family learned that Golden Whiskers was alive and well. Nothing bad had happened to him. Every day, Hao looks into the depths of the forest in hopes of seeing her savior again. The wild animal risked its own life to repay the girl for the good she had done. An unknown user shared this story online. There is no evidence of this incident, but I choose to believe that that's exactly how everything happened. Apparently, dogs aren't the only animals who can be true friends to humans, but wild predators are also capable of a loyal friendship, as long as you know how to deal with them. And a good example of this kind of situation is the animal featured in our next story. It didn't just move from the forest to a human home, but also managed to surprise all its neighbors with its loyalty. A lonely elderly man lived in a small village on the outskirts of the Amur region, Russia. When he first moved there, the neighbors asked him many questions, trying to learn about his past, but they soon realized that the new resident had some kind of secret that he didn't want to share with anyone. Everything about him said that he wasn't inclined to open up about his past and wasn't looking for an intimate friendship. The man answered all questions with monosyllabic phrases and with the obvious lack of desire to continue the conversation. Thus, the locals soon left him alone, since no one really wanted to continue trying to get him to talk. The newcomer turned out to be an avid hunter, an experienced fisherman, and a connoisseur of nature. He rarely spent his pension money on shopping, since he got most of his food from the forest. Berries, mushrooms, fresh meat, he had an abundance of it all. He also caught large fish in the river and made soup from it, which could last for several days. One day, the man decided to take a break during one of his regular walks in the forest. He made a fire and began to cook food on it. He had some ingredients in his backpack. When the man began to eat, he felt that someone was moving not far from him. Taking a closer look, the hunter saw a small lynx. It was crawling cautiously through the grass, attracted by the tasty smell and hoping to get a treat. The man also noticed that the animal's fur was covered in blood. So he realized that the lynx had either escaped from a trap or a large predator. The animal meowed plaintively and looked at the man, who took pity on the little kitten. The hunter put his bowl of food on the ground and moved it towards the animal, and the animal eagerly pounced on the food. After the meal, the kitten lay on its side and fell asleep. Blood was still running down its fur. The man realized that until the lynx's wounds were healed, it couldn't survive in the forest on its own. The man quickly gathered his things, took the kitten into his arms, and carried it to the village. On his way home, the man stopped by a woman who used to work as a vet and whom he sometimes talked to a little. Thanks to her, the lynx got better soon. But during the time it took for the kitten to heal, the man and the animal became so attached to each other that they didn't want to part. So, the animal stayed in the village. 2 years passed, and one fall morning the man was about to go hunting. As he reached for the gun that was hanging on the wall, he felt a sudden shooting pain in his left side. The next moment, he fell to the floor and lost consciousness. The woman who once helped treat the lynx was at her home at the time. She heard someone scratching at the door, and when she opened it, she saw the young lynx. The animal was spinning around but refused to go inside the house. The animal took a few steps towards the gate and returned to the front porch again, as if asking the vet to follow it. The old woman guessed that something must have happened to the animal's owner. She ran to the house as fast as her health allowed, and there she saw the man lying on the floor. She called other neighbors and asked them to bring the doctor. All this time, the lynx wouldn't leave its owner's side. It carefully watched everyone, as if to make sure that no one harmed its friend. Soon, the ambulance took the man to the hospital. Fortunately, he survived. While the man was in the hospital, the lynx was restless and only allowed the vet to feed it. Only when the owner returned home did the animal calm down. Although from that day on, the lynx never left its friend. And having learned about how he got saved, the man constantly thanked his pet for its help. And that's all for today, friends. Write your opinion about today's episode in the comments. Like the video, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.